At the beginning of the anime, we're shown a main character Denji, a teenager who lives his life as a devil hunter. In order to repay the debts of his father, he sold his kidney, right eye, and also cuts trees and hunts devils for the Yakuza with Pochita, a chainsaw devil. However, he still owes a lot more money. He met his buddy Pochita in front of his father's grave. In that day, an old man from Yakuza told him to pay off his father's debts and he should gather 700,000 yen by tomorrow, otherwise he would chop him to pieces. Just when Yakuza people left, injured chainsaw devil appears. Denji offers him to bite him to get healed. In exchange, he must help him as well. After, Denji defeats a devil and gives it to old man and states he wants to work for him as a devil hunter. Since that day, he works for him. Because of his debts, he gets paid less than 1% of his total earnings, so he lives a tragically poor life, eating only bread. In addition, he suffers from a heart disease inherited from his mother. Lying on the bed, he tells Pochita that he dreams of having bread with jam, flirting with a girl, and playing some games with her. After old man takes him to an abandoned factory to fight some devils. Suddenly, a man with a sword stabs Denji and Pochita from behind. Then old man explains that they made a deal with Zombie Devil to make Yakuza bigger. In return, Zombie Devil wants to destroy devil hunters with the help of Yakuza. He orders zombies to get rid of Denji. He tries to run away, but it's all in vain. Cut to pieces, Denji is thrown into a dumper with Pochita. Some of his blood reaches Pochita and he awakens. Then he recalls one day where Pochita and Denji were cutting trees. Denji tells Pochita that he heard that devils can take over dead bodies and states he's afraid of leaving Pochita alone and starving, so in case something happens to Denji, he wants Pochita to take his body and live normal life. As Denji starts passing out, he hears someone calling from inside his heart. It was Pochita telling that he loved hearing Denji's dreams and he is going to give him his heart. In exchange, he wants Denji to show him his dreams. Then Pochita merges with Denji, combining his chopped pieces and restoring him to full health. Denji awakens healed in the dumpster. Surprised, Zombie Devil orders zombies to attack him. Denji then pulls the cord from his chest, which transforms his head and arms into a chainsaw. He easily defeats several zombies and jumps on the Zombie Devil and slices him in half. Then he wants to defeat the rest of the zombies so that he won't owe them money anymore. The next day, a group of devil hunters come to the factory. Seeing Denji the head of the group, Makima approaches Denji and tells he has strange smell, neither human nor devil, and wonders if he's the who did all of this. Makima tells Denji that he has two options. Either she is going to destroy him or she will keep him as a pet and promises to feed. Denji wonders what she can give for breakfast. She replies that she will give bread with butter and jam, coffee, and maybe some dessert. Everything seems incredible to Denji and he agrees. Episode 2. Makima treats Denji as a pet and requires him to be obedient, otherwise he will end him. After she gives him her jacket and tells they are going to stop to eat something and she will pay for it. At the beginning, Denji found her scary. Now Denji thinks he loves her, as nobody ever was that nice to him. While ordering udon, Denji tells the story how his buddy Chainsaw Devil saved his life and loses consciousness. When he wakes up, udon was ready. Since Denji has never used sticks before, Makima feeds him. After Denji asks Makima what type of guys she likes, and she responds she likes guys like Denji. While they are entering headquarters of devil hunters in Tokyo, Denji is still thinking of Makima's answer and thinks how strong he wants to be her boyfriend. Makima hands Denji an uniform and introduces Aki Hayakawa, whom they are going to work together, and now they have to go out on patrol. Denji is not happy that he is not going to work with Makima. Makima replies that if he does a good job, they might work together someday. Aki and Denji go out on a patrol, where Denji asks him about Makima and if she has a boyfriend. Aki ignores him and calls him to an alley, where Aki beats him up. He states that only people with real motivation survive as devil hunters, guessing Denji applied for a job because of Makima. Leaving the alley, Aki tells Denji not to return. In response, Denji approaches Aki and kicks him between the legs. Continuing to do so, he says he has never eaten udon before and has never been treated like a human, and says he doesn't want to live this way of life, even if he may die. The next morning, Denji makes himself breakfast using various jams in the apartment of Aki, where he is going to live. Aki is annoyed by his manner. After they go to dispose of Fiend, Aki explains him that Fiend is when a devil takes control of a human corpse and tells Denji that he is not Fiend, as Fiends have non-human heads. After they enter the room, and Aki asks Denji to transform into a devil and destroy the Fiend, but Denji uses the axe to do so, which makes Aki angry as he wants devil to suffer before they disposed of. He tells that everyone except Denji is serious about devils. Then he reveals that he lost his family because of a devil. After Denji thinks that everybody has their goals except him, the police officers down are risking their lives to save their families. Aki wants a revenge. He decides to have a goal too, and his goal is to touch woman's chest. Afterwards, Makima assigns a new partner to Denji. Her name is Power. Makima warns him she is a fiend and she also in Aki's team. Makima explains if experimental team where Denji and Power are in does not show any results, will be dissolved. Then Denji sees Power is a girl. He is happy to be a partner with her. After they go out on a patrol. Because of Power's horn, they have to avoid pedestrians. In case they meet policemen, Makima told them to show their hunter badges. Power gets annoyed of not finding any devils, and she notes perhaps the demons are afraid of her, since she was super powerful demon before she took over a human's body. After Power senses a devil and runs towards it. The devil was spotted and reported by a civilian hunter, but Power jumps from the building and, breaking the law of obstructing civilian hunter's business, smashes the devil with the hammer formed with her blood. Episode 3. Makima tells Denji to take her under control and scolds Power for this incident. Makima wants them to work well together. The Denji thinks his lifestyle won't last long if Power continues to act as previously. Meanwhile, Power sees a cat and starts patting it. Power says that she hates all people and loves only cats. And she tells about her cat Maui, which was taken by a devil. She couldn't get it back because Makima caught her. Now she only hopes that Maui is still alive and is ready to whatever she needs to do, even to abide humans in order to return it back. Denji also tells about his goal, to touch female breasts, for which he is ready for anything. To which Power offers to touch her breasts if he helps to return her cat. Denji agrees. A time skip occurs in which Makima is currently meeting the higher-ups, some commenting that they heard other countries using devils in the military, but hoping that in future Japan's only enemy would only be the devils. They ask Makima about the performance of her squad, and she knows that one seems promising while another she picked recently seems interesting. They remind her that her job is to raise them and use them for work, so she must not get attached. Further, in the car, Aki asks Makima that he doesn't understand why she likes Denji so much. She replies that she likes his demonic powers. Aki still is not sure he will be useful, since everyone else has a real goal or motivation in public safety, but Denji just wants to enjoy life and behaves like a child. Meanwhile, Denji and Power get approval so that Power could officially go until 5 p.m. after they go to save Power's cat. On the road, Denji tells her about Pochita and that even though he could not pet him now, Pochita would always live in his heart anyway. Hearing this, Power thinks that Denji is too sentimental and tells that thing about living in his heart is just miserable self-comfort. They soon reach the house where Power has last seen the demon. While walking there, Denji says he doesn't want to turn into a chainsaw again because then he would get sick, but Power thinks he's just joking. Then she suddenly hits him on the head and knocks him out. The reason Power brought Denji here is to give him to a demon in exchange for her cat. It was the injured bat demon. He tastes Denji's blood and he is shocked at such a wild taste. But still his blood helps him to recover and he gets out. Since Power brought a human as promised, she asks to return her cat. Since she brought him disgusting blood, the demon swallows her cat and her. After the demon flies toward the city, Denji manages to grab onto demon's tail and transforms into a chainsaw to save Power and her cat. Denji understands Power's feelings because in the past there was a day when he woke up and Pochita was not around. He looked everywhere for him and feared that evil had eaten him. It turned out that Pochita was at home crying and waiting for him. After he begins to attack the demon and cuts him into pieces, Denji manages to defeat the demon and saves Power and the cat. Episode 4. Power asks why Denji saved her. He replies that he saved her in order to touch her. Power apologizes for deceiving him and said she will allow to touch her 3 times. Then, unexpectedly, Denji is attacked by the leech devil. Denji tries to turn into a chainsaw, but he cannot because he lost a lot of his blood. He tells Power to take the cat and run away. The leech devil states that she would spare Denji even though he ended her man, as she finds Denji cute. However, she will eat everyone else. Seeing Power unable to move, Denji starts fighting with the leech devil, but the devil defeats him and is about to eat him. Aki suddenly appears, summons his fox demon, and defeats the leech devil. Further, already in the hospital, Denji wakes up and Aki is sitting in front of him. He reveals that Denji could regenerate like devils. Denji replies that he has also seen Aki summoning the devil. Aki explains that he had a pact with the devil fox, and in exchange of his power, Aki gives parts of his body him to be eaten. He also asks about Power's betrayal, but Denji plays dumb and lies. He doesn't know what had happened. After Aki leaves the room, his partner Himeno and Power are waiting for him. He removes Power's handcuffs. After, Aki visits Makima. He reports about what happened to the demon leech and the demon bat. Makima notes that Denji and Power should be punished for this. Aki states that since everyone is alive, they can be forgiven. Makima accepts it, although she notes that Aki has changed and wonders if it's due to Denji's influence. The next day, Power comes to Aki's apartment. She is sent by Makima to put Power under Aki's care. Because Power used to live on the streets, she rarely bathes. She doesn't eat vegetables and clogs the toilet as she doesn't like to flush each time. Denji had to clean up after her, and when he was cleaning the toilet, Power comes up to him and says that he can touch her 3 times. 1 for saving her cat, and 1 for defeating Bat Devil, and 1 for protecting her from Aki. Episode 5. Denji is finally able to fulfill his dream of touching a woman, but he gets extremely shocked when things do not turn out the way he thought it would be. The next day, Denji meets Makima in her office. She notices that he is feeling down. He explains that he finally fulfilled his dream of touching a woman, but he didn't feel great as his dream came true quickly, so he lost his motivation. She explains that in cases like that, everything is decided by a partner. The better they understand each other, the stronger the emotions get. She suggests to feel her hands first. Then she let him touch her ears. She asks to remember the strength of her bite, and then she places his hand on her chest. Denji is greatly surprised and falls on his back. Makima did all this to ask Denji for a favor. She wants Denji to defeat the strongest devil, Gun Devil. This devil appeared 13 years ago in America and destroyed a lot of people in a few minutes. No one has seen him since. Everyone knows only that he is very strong and everyone wants to defeat him. Makima thinks that only Denji can defeat him as he is special. If he can do this, she will grant him 1 wish. Then she tells a story about how people are afraid of guns in America. There was a terrorist attack with guns in America, and the media immediately spread this information around the world. And that's when the Gun Devil appeared. More people afraid of devil, stronger the devil becomes. This resulted Gun Devil become the strongest. The devil destroyed about 1.2 million people within 5 minutes, and Aki's family was among them. Since then, no one has seen the devil again. After that, laws were introduced prohibiting the carrying of weapons, and there was a strict censorship of any armed crime. After the story, Denji says that he is ready to end the devil for Makima. Makima explains that before defeating it, they first need to find it. She shows the particles of this devil which are attracted to each other. As the devil moves too fast, some pieces from his body get burned and detached. If any devil eats them, devil becomes stronger. Therefore, Makima's goal is to collect more pieces and gather them into a big fragment to find the devil itself. At the same time, Aki and Himeno defeats Fish Devil and find another small particle of the Gun Devil. After they go to the hotel to end another devil that has eaten the same particle. 6 devil hunters are assigned on this mission. There, Denji and Power discussing morning prank on Aki, making him even angrier. To calm them down, Himeno declares whoever defeats the devil will get a kiss from her. Denji, remembering Makima's word, replies that he is not interested. Himeno then, approaching him, tells she will give him a French kiss. This motivates Denji and he goes to look for the devil. Himeno then tells Aki not to die. It's revealed that after losing his family, Aki was trained to become a devil hunter. He was introduced as Himeno's new partner earlier at the graveyard. Since Aki is her sixth teammate, she tells him not to die. After already at the hotel, they meet a strange devil. Himeno grabs him with her ghost devil and power cuts him down. Himeno reveals that she has a pact with Ghost Devil and in exchange for his power, she gave her eye. It turned out that this devil isn't the devil with the gun's devil's piece. They continue searching and soon they realize that they enter 8th floor again and again. They cannot escape from this floor because of the demonic power. Episode 6. They start searching for an exit, but no success. They can't leave the 8th floor, the windows lead to the rooms across them, elevators do not work. Hirakazu and Kabeni begin to go a little crazy. Aki notices that all the clocks are stopped at 8:18. He thinks that the devil stopped time on the 8th floor. Kabeni begins to panic and so Himeno had to knock her out and Hirakazu hides in the room out of fear. While Aki is looking for a way out, Himeno lights her last cigarette and reveals that she was the who taught Aki how to smoke. Afterwards, Aki comes and says that the devil is getting bigger and bigger. Also after this, Demon offered to conclude a contract. If they feed Denji to him, he will let the rest of the hunters out of here. Kabeni, hearing this, decides to end Denji to save everyone, but Himeno and Aki stops her. Afterwards, Aki tries to use the fox devil but he couldn't summon it as they are now stuck in the devil's stomach on the 8th floor. The devil notes that the only way to leave this place is to give Denji to it. Then Hirakazu comes and offers to end Denji. Aki believes that the devil has a desire to end Denji for some potential gain, so he refuses. So without inventing anything, they begin to wait. The devil turns entire floor to 90 degrees to eat them. After Aki decides to use his sword, but Himeno doesn't let him. She knows that using his sword will require him to sacrifice several years of his life. After Hirakazu leaps onto Denji and Kabeni endeavors to stab him. Aki intervenes and shields Denji with his own body, resulting in him getting stabbed instead. Aki stated that he needs Denji's help to defeat the gun devil and is willing to do anything to keep Denji alive. Power stops Aki's bleeding with her power. Denji ultimately gives in and decides to jump into the demon's mouth. He reminds Himeno not to forget about her promise about the kiss. Denji, assuming that the reason the devil wants him dead is because he is afraid of his chainsaw. He turns into a chainsaw and leaps into the hallway to confront the devil. Episode 7. Due to the injuries and blood loss, his chainsaw begins to disappear and he decides to drink devil's blood to recover. Seeing this, Himeno remembers her conversation with Kishibe, the strongest demon hunter. He said that the devils are most afraid of insane hunters. They also discussed Aki, who is insane as he wants to kill the gun devil. But Himeno is certain that if Aki engages in a battle against the gun devil, he will perish due to his kind and ordinary nature, just like any other person. So she first tried to convince Aki to become a civilian devil hunter, but he refused. Himeno realizes that Denji is insane hunter that Kishibe was talking about and begins to help him. Denji is fighting the devil for 3 days. In the end, the devil shows his heart to Denji and asks him to end it, as it's no longer able to endure the pain. Everyone is saved and while leaving the building, Denji ends up falling. Himeno manages to catch him and realizes that he has dozed off. Aki and Denji are taken to the hospital. A few days later, they decide to have a corporate party. Himeno wonders why Denji is so popular among devils, and Makima most likely knows some secret of Denji. Division 4 gathers for a drink. They're already drunk. Himeno decides to kiss Denji, but Makima shows up at that time. She joins the party and after that, they start to discuss that demons with pieces of the gun devil have been appearing often lately. Also, Aki tries to ask Makima if she knows something special about Denji, but he couldn't. After drunk, Himeno kisses Denji and she throws up in his mouth. Because of this nasty kiss, Denji feels sick and dizzy. After the party, the drunk Himena takes Denji and carries him to her home. Episode 8. Later in the morning, Himena and Denji are having breakfast. Himena realizes that Denji had fallen in love with Makima and offers him a secret deal. She will help him in his relationship with Makima, and he must help her in her relationship with Aki. Denji agrees, and they are now friends. Makima and her assistant are on a train headed to Kyoto to meet with her bosses. The train goes through a tunnel, and two men sitting in front and behind them shoot them both. The man then called to confirm the start of the operation. All members of Division 4 are carrying out various missions across Tokyo when they are suddenly attacked. Denji and the others are attacked by the grandson of the head of the Yakuza, to whom Denji used to work at the beginning of the anime. The grandson wants to avenge him. He shoots Denji in the head and injures Himeno. Power punches him and Aki summons the fox devil and he eats him. The man becomes out of the devil fox, showing a transformation that is similar to Denji's, but with swords instead of chainsaws. Aki asks Power to help Himeno and pulls out his sword and begins to attack the devil. He uses his cursed sword and hits the devil 3 times, and the cursed devil ends it. When Aki is about to help Himeno, Akane Savatari suddenly appears and resurrects Katana Man. He starts attacking Aki again and wounds him. Himeno asks Power to help Aki, but she refuses, as the enemies are stronger than her. Himeno tries to use the ghost devil, but the devil also refuses, as Savatari scares her. Himeno decides to give her entire body in order to gain all her power. The ghost devil appears in front of Katana Man and starts attacking him. However, Savatari summons the snake devil, who bites off the ghost head, and Himeno completely disappears. Episode 9. The ghost devil's remaining hand reaches Denji and pulls the cord for transformation. Denji and the Katana Man begin to fight. Reporting that they are in combat with Chainsaw, Akane requests backup after Katana cut Denji in half and transforms into a man back. Meanwhile, other hunters are also attacked and almost all are destroyed except for Makima. Before her train reaches Kyoto, she stands up and defeats her attackers. In Kyoto, she is met by Kurose and Tendo. They inform her what happened in Tokyo. Makima then orders them to bring 30 live prisoners and book the nearest temple on the highest mountain. After already in the temple, she ordered everyone to blindfold so that no one would know with which devil she has a contract. Through the ravens, she learns the names of the attackers who at that time are carrying Denji. Makima asks the prisoners to name the names of attackers 3 times, which crushed to death both attackers and prisoners. So she was able to destroy everyone except Savatari and the Katana Man, after Makima says that she's going back to Tokyo. Meanwhile, Kabeni, who managed to survive the attack, comes to Savatari. Kabeni begins to fight Savatari and injures Katana Man. Akane takes Katana Man with her and departs in the van. After Makima arrives in Tokyo, Madoko meets her and tells that he's going to quit. It turns out that almost all the hunters from the Division 1, 2, 3, and 4 died during the attack. Makima received the order that all survivors are going to merge into one, and they will be now under Makima's control. Episode 10. Further, already in the hospital, Aki wakes up and sees Denji and Power sitting next to him, reading manga. They are eating apples, and then they begin to argue why Power left the fight. Aki asks about the other Division 4 survivors, and Denji informs that Kabeni and Madoka are alive, but he quit. After Makima calls Denji and Power and they leave. Aki takes his sword and asks Cursed Devil how many years he has left. The devil reveals that he has only 2 years left to live. As Aki lights a cigarette, he remembers Himena and begins to cry. Denji goes back to get his manga, but upon his return he finds Aki crying. Remembering Himena, Denji begins to think if he had lost his human heart, since he isn't sad about Himena's death. Shortly after, he decides not to dwell on serious matters. Kurose and Tendo visits Aki per Makima's request. As Aki lost control on his fox devil, he has to leave the service, otherwise he has to prove his determination, making a contract with the new devil. Meanwhile, Makima tells that since the enemies begin to hunt Denji, he and Power have to start training. She introduces them to Himena's master Kishibe and says that he will train them. Kishibe interviews them and likes their answers. He introduces himself, and after he hugs them and snaps their necks. He then fits them so that they could stand up. Kishibe states that the gun devil needs Denji's heart for some reason. Since he is the most powerful devil hunter, the devil that could beat him must be the most powerful one as well. Therefore, he resolved to keep pursuing Denji and Power until they could overcome him. Power creates a weapon that they begin to attack Kishibe. He knocks them out and realizes that Denji is immortal and Power is only half immortal. They fight until the evening. After Kishibe says that he would come to their house next morning and they would continue the battle. On the way home, Power and Denji come up with a plan to defeat Kishibe, but he understands everything that defeats them again. Soon they are able to hurt his face a little, so now they will only have one session a week. The next day, they will go into a real fight against Katana Man and Savatari. Kishibe also knows that if they lose, he will end them. After Kishibe goes to Makima, he said that Makima knew about the attack on the 4th division, but for some reason didn't stop it. He also states that if she ceases to be useful to people, then he will end her, and she must remember this. Makima replies that she just wants to save the maximum number of people, and if the next day the task is going to be successful, then it would help everyone. Kishibe calls her a liar. Aki is brought to some cells where public safety locks up devils they capture. He enters the cell where he meets the future devil with whom he must make a contract. Episode 11. The future devil, seeing Aki going to die soon, agrees to make a contract with him, and then it moves to Aki's right eye. Meanwhile, Katana Man and Akane Savatari are in their hideout with other men. Akane says that there is no point in running away. Makima would find them anyway, so they would try to defeat more hunters. To do this, they will use the zombies left by the Katana Man's grandfather. Meanwhile, Makima visits to the head of the Yakuza to find out the names of all the members of Yakuza and other families who made a contract with the Gun Devil. The head of Yakuza replies that only Savatari was to blame for everything, and he doesn't want to name the names of other members. Makima was prepared for such an answer and therefore brought the eyes belonging to the families of all the men in the room. In exchange for the names, she promises to return eyes to their owners, and she gets the names. By this time, the operation has already begun. Kishibe sends all the students to the building and warns the police not to let anyone out of the building. He states that the special division will take out the gang members. Kishibe provides information about the members present so they know who they may need to interact with. The fiends are left to fight the zombies while Denji, Power and Aki go to look for the Katana Man. On one of the floors, Aki meets enemies whom Makima destroys immediately. Then he meets Savatari. Savatari summons the ghost devil Himeno used to have a contract with. They begin to fight. Episode 12. But soon the ghost devil stops attacking and hands him a cigarette with easy revenge written on it. The cigarette was kept from him by Himena, and then Aki remembers that in order to defeat the ghost devil, one must stop feeling fear. Aki defeats the devil and stops Kabeni, who was going to end Savatari. Meanwhile, in elevator, Power goes to fight the zombies and Denji finds the Katana Man. The Katana Man begins blaming Denji for his grandfather's death, but realizing that he doesn't care, they begin to fight. At the end of the battle, Denji manages to defeat him and ties him up. Aki comes to him. Denji decides to have a tournament in which they would give Katana Man nut shots, and whoever makes the man scream the most wins. Thinking a bit, Aki agrees to participate. Kishibe has defeated all other gang members. After Makima at headquarters reports that Savatari was the organizer of that attack, she made a contract with the Gun Devil and supplied the Yakuza with weapons. According to the contract, she was supposed to get Denji's heart, but they didn't have time to find out why she needed it, since Savatari's head was beaten off by her demon snake. Also, in the building where they were hiding, 1.4 kg of Gun Devil species were found, and when they combined with 5 kg they had, the fragments began to move towards its owner. At the end of the anime, we are shown Aki, Denji and Power After dinner, they decide to take a nap, where Aki goes out to the balcony and lights up Jimena's cigarette. Denji again has a dream with the door. In a dream, he hears the voice of Pochita, who asks Denji to never open the door. This is the end of the first season of The Chainsaw Man. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.